your brand isn't using video marketing, you're already falling behind. Short-form videos are ruling social media. Live streaming is driving real-time engagement. AI-powered video personalization is changing the game. Video isn't the future, it's now. Why does video marketing matter in 2025? Boosts engagement. People retain 95% of a message in a video versus 10% in text. Skyrockets conversions. Videos on landing pages increase conversions by 80%. Dominates social media. Platforms prioritize video content, pushing your brand to the top. If you want to grow, connect, and sell more in 2025, video marketing isn't optional. It's essential. Start now. Start with video. Start with OneStream Live. What's your video strategy for 2025? Drop us comment.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are around the globe. We are live everywhere, and I am more excited than a seagull with a stolen chip. Yes, it's me, Big Joe Shep, founder of Livestream Solutions, your Livestream strategist, and proud brand ambassador for the globe's leading professional software streaming providers, OneStream Live. Now, I've just put myself on standby there. What a strange thing to do when you're live. Welcome to our very first episode of our brand new July series called the Livestream Leap, from voices to vision. Now, I'm not alone tonight. As you can see, we've gone from a face for radio to a face. She's a podcaster, a YouTuber, and right now she's taken her first real steps into the world of live streaming. We'll find out lots more about her in just a second, so stay here because it is 8 p.m. UK and Ireland, 3 p.m. where Christina is in Eastern Time, and it's your weekly dose of all things live streaming and digital engagement. It's the Big Joe Show, and as we all know, there's no show like a Big Joe Show. Keep it right here. There you go. Welcome. Now, my fab co-host for the next 4 weeks. I'm really chuffed when I get guests on, but I've convinced this wonderful lady to come on for 4 weeks. Christina Vidovich, welcome to OneStream Live, the Big Joe Show, and the Livestream Leap. Before we dive in, is genuinely, Mr. Such a buzz having you here. But how are you feeling right now? Excited, nervous, a bit of both?
All of the above, Joe. All of the above.
Good. When you're very, very welcome on this journey. I met Christina at the podcast show in London a short while ago, and she wanted to get into live streaming. So we've been working on some projects together, and we're going to use this 4 weeks, excuse me, as her bounce into the live streaming, although she's very experienced in her own right. And so really for my regular viewers and for anybody who doesn't know you, tell us a bit about who you are, where you're from, and what kind of content that you create.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe, for the introduction and for being here today. I'm Christina Vidovich. I live just outside of the Washington, D.C. area in the USA. I am a podcaster. My big podcast that I'm working on right now is Women's Health, Wealth, and Happiness, Interviews to Inspire, where I get the opportunity to interview women from around the world on their experiences of health, wealth, and happiness. And one of the things that I'm so excited to do with Joe is move into live streaming. Oh my, I'm so excited. I'm nervous. I just want to see, because this is where I need to go with my journey. And I will be launching my newest podcast, Women Getting Visible, alongside of everyone watching and Joe, because there are so many women that I want to interview. I have enough women for 4 more seasons in my current show, and I need to start the live streaming now. Joe, can you help me?
Yeah, I can. It's fab. I wanted to do that. I want to create a couple of little shorts from it. You remember all that repurposing stuff? Well, we go more into that in episode 2. So now, when I invited you to co-host the series, what made you say yes to doing, especially since you're brand new to live streaming? See, I have a different view. For me, you're an experienced and very, very good podcaster and YouTube artist, but for many now wanting to make the jump from podcasts video, audio into live stream. It's different. So, what made you say yes to doing this?
Oh, well, you know what? If you don't say yes, you'll just be standing still, honestly. And it has been something on my mind. As I just mentioned, my list of guests has continued to grow and grow. I just finished my 3rd season. I already have my 4th season recorded, sitting, waiting to be edited. And instead of waiting for guests for the next 2 years, I want to get them on now.
Brilliant. Sometimes it's as simple as that, isn't it? Sometimes we overcomplicate matters with we're overthinking things, but sometimes it's just turn up, go live, produce, enjoy it. And so over the next 4 weeks, ladies and gents, we are going to go with Christina on her journey and take you on the journey, especially for podcasters wanting to do the same, because we were asked to do this a while ago after we touched on from podcasting to live streaming. So we said we'd do a little bit more. And I wanted to wait for the right person to come along, and I've now got that. So but just before we dive in, though, a quick note on tonight's episode title. So book one guest, get 10,000 followers. Now that title is what I call indicative. It's the kind of impact that's possible when you start showing up live and being visible, because we know video is far, far more better than just audio. More on that shortly. Now, we're not saying that booking one guest automatically gives you 10,000 followers overnight. We both wish it was all that easy. However, I personally do find innovative ways around algorithms that allows me as an individual to reach more gain or to gain for more reach, should I say, and engagement. So if you take, for example, and I'm going to stick this up because I think this illustrates the point I'm trying to make. So last October, so you'll see this if you look carefully at the bottom. I'm going to stick this in the comments later for people. So I've got currently about 4,600 followers just on Facebook, and this is just an iterative example. So we know Facebook only shows a post to 2.5 to 4% of your people. So 2.5 to 4%, even if you call that 5% top end of 4,600, it's not many. So how did I get a post last October? In fact, I've got regular posts that hit 10,000, 5,000, 25,000. This one here, excuse me, was a song by Lindsey Buckingham and I can't remember the name now, from Fleetwood Mac. And it was an acoustic song they did, and I just thought it was brilliant. So it went up in October 2024. It's had 29,000 reactions. It's had 5.8 thousand independent reshares, 810 comments, and 1.4 million views, all from around 4,000 followers. Now, let me just get rid of that because, so was Shep. And I wanted to put them up because the figures are there for people to be able to see. So how do I get 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 22,000, that? There's no right or wrong way. Let me tell you, the algorithm on the different platforms change so much all the time. It is so hard to be able to do. So you've got to try and find different things. This show tonight, for example, because Facebook is going out on YouTube, LinkedIn, YouTube, LinkedIn, website, Facebook, etc., etc. It will go back out again at the weekend. It'll form part of a playlist, which is now up by the good people at OneStream Live up on YouTube, and then we'll reshare that as well. So, and then I'll share it after tonight because Facebook put it as an event, and then it goes live at the material time. So I'll then reshare that into lots of podcast groups, business groups, etc., etc. And there's those innovative ways of finding your way around to make you visible. Because remember what we said in last month and the month before, know me, like me, trust me. So that's what I wanted to cover. Because when we put the title up, it like, OneStream said, are you sure? I said, yeah. I want people to understand just how powerful video can be. But also, it's not just a one-off. You need to pick the right people, like the great Christina. You need to have the right topic areas. That's what OneStream Live and myself come up with. You need to have other posts and other content which get you known. And I am more of a personal brand than I am a brand, so whether it's my live rugby shows, the one on tomorrow night, by the way, or whether I'm talking about coffee or red wine Malbec, or whether I'm live streaming or digital engagement. All of these things, there is no, and you'll get this, Christine, won't you? There's no quick win in the digital world.
Absolutely. And talking about that leap into live streaming as well and the visual, I think of, you don't see children who grab their phones from their parents looking at words. They want to see pictures. There's something magnetic about the pictures. And the Zoom calls have become more important than just a telephone call. We want to see and engage with each other.
I absolutely. I annoy the hell out of everybody, because where I can, I'll phone somebody on WhatsApp, or I'll phone them on Messenger on a video call, especially somebody who pops up, pops into my head or pops up across my feed, and I think, I haven't spoken to them for ages. I'll stop what I'm doing if I can. I'll ring them. I don't know what they're doing, but there we go. Because we want that intimacy with people, that friendship, that connection with people, especially at distance, and we don't do it enough. So let's talk, Christina, about why I believe podcasters like you make brilliant live streamers. In fact, you'll be better at live streaming than I will ever be, and there's good reasons for that, and I will let people know as the 4 weeks go on, but you will make a outstanding, brilliant live streamer. Now, podcasters like you already have what most live streamers are trying to build. You've got audience intimacy. You have built that connection with people, both audio and then into video. You've got that consistency of your shows being there regular basis, especially building it on YouTube. Your storytelling skills are outstanding, Mrs. Absolutely outstanding. You convey a story to people that most just don't do. And I think that's what's great. But whilst you're brilliant at it, I find most podcasters are great because they're telling the story because people are listening. What they're not getting is the visibility that video brings. And I think that's the importance. So for you, how long do your listeners, typically sort of stick around for an episode? Do most of them listen start to finish, or?
Well, it's interesting because watching statistics in general, I've asked the question, how long should a podcast be? That's the big debate, right? Some people have done the hour long, some do the 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but it has decreased to the 15 minutes. So that is my sweet spot for my regular episodes, is in that 15 minutes. But if it's a good conversation, you'll listen for the next 15 minutes, half hour, and say, yes, there's a story to be told here.
And I think that's it, isn't it? When you're telling a story, people vicariously live that story with you, through you. And I think that's what brings it to life. So, do you feel that your listeners know you personally, or is it more of a reactive engagement, though, because it's not live and engaging? If you're with me.
Ooh, that's a good question. Because one of the interesting things, and I had a guest recently, when I shared a little personal story and I said, I'll hold that for the bonus track. She said, no, leave it in, because part of the story of them tuning in each week is not only just to listen to me, but you as the interviewer. And I said, thank you for that.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point. You see, your audience already loves hearing your voice. I suppose that helps when you've got a very calm and mellow voice like you've got, which just you could sit there and listen. It's almost mindfulness in a way. But imagine how much more they'll connect when they actually see your face, face for radio, and I still get away with it. Your gestures, your expressions, again, it goes back to that, they're living your story with you. So I suppose the next question is, does the idea of people seeing you while you talk excite you, or does it freak you out a little bit, or do you forget once you get started?
Oh, all of the above again. Answer C, answer D. When I first started, having come from a ballroom background, it's different because on the stage, you're in the moment and you're there. But doing it on camera is a much different experience because it's captured for longer. So holding on to that, you want to be in a place where you're comfortable, you have that authentic piece, but you're still in that presentation mode. it brings me to a moment of watching a presenter on television years ago. And I noticed, wow, she moved her head a lot when she spoke. But if she stood completely still, there's no engagement.
Yeah.
So that expressiveness is huge.
It is. And one of the things that people say to me, what do you do when you're on the studio right now, for example, because of the way Facebook works? So we've got a thing called integrated chat in the studio. So any of the chat that comes in from LinkedIn and from YouTube, etc., comes in. But Facebook, you can see them, but you can't reply. So and that's because each platform's different. So for example, I'm now looking at Facebook. Susie Manley, my very dear friend in Brisbane, Australia. So good morning. Karen Fleming across in County Cork. Good evening, Joe and Christina. Susie saying being consistent and repurposing. Susie again saying, and I'm liking this. I love this engagement, and I'll come back to why I'm doing this. To tie up Mark Welshie, good man, nice to see you, Chubbs, thanks for supporting. Susie Manley, so important to be yourself. That's what people will connect with. So what you're doing when you are in the studio, and people say, well, what do you do when you're looking around everywhere? Well, I host, I produce, and I direct my own shows. Some, like tomorrow night, I've got a guest host for the rugby. I'll be in the background. I can just sit there, enjoy. Actually, it means I can reshare immediately we go live. So another project, because it then pops up on your feed straight away. But in the meantime, like I did before, I went live. I connected the integrated chat. I made sure that we were on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. I put the videos up. I turned the music off. I brought us into the studio. It took down. All of those things can all be done by one person. It is absolutely that simple. And I love that. So, as a lot of people know, I stood up because I'm an old man. I'm no man. I'm going to poorly back a face for radio, all of those type of things. I'm trying to get some sympathy out of the viewers out there. That ain't going to work. It's not with my crowd. Excuse me. But the whole thing is that if I'm on my own, right, I'm talking to one individual. That's how I've always viewed it. I don't need it to be perfect. I don't need it to be slick. The professionalism comes in the planning and the preparation side of things. Being able to move around, I could get some software, as you well know. We can get some software and you can put it in so that when I move around, the eyes don't move and you're static. I love what you've just said, because I just don't think that's real. I don't think it's authentic. And you're not going to attract other people to do the same if it's not easy to do. And it can be unpolished. The rest of it is all polished. You yourself, just got to be real. So that comes on to one of my favorite. So thank you for bringing that up, because what you just spoke about was absolutely spot on the nail. Now, one of my other favorite topics on this is visibility versus loyalty. Now, for me, audio builds loyalty, video builds reach. In your podcasts that you do you feel that you've built that loyalty with your audience, or do you ever feel slightly invisible because it's not live? How does it feel? Because it is inherently different.
Again, you're speaking right to me, Joe. That is one of the things. It's fun to see, but that engagement that is offered in live gives a realness to it. And again, I asked my guests early on after we were done filming, would you go on live with me? Everyone has said yes. That would be fun to do, because they want the engagement of other people. Our conversations are fun, of course, but just knowing it's like maybe there's another question that somebody else has that can really add to that conversation that we're having.
Yeah, absolutely. Susie Manley's just saying that octopus arms and fly eyes, that's doing 37 things at once. Absolutely. It's and I think once you get used to that, and it's like what's become very popular at the moment is behind the scenes shows where you show people down since we've done them. When I've been doing testing for OneStream, we've done them showing the back end, on how to step by step. So it demystifies that, if literally the oldest expression, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm just saying a quick hello there to my pal Phil Keeble. Phil, I hope you are well wherever you are currently, mate. I'll reach out to you next week, but thanks for joining us on the show. Now, I know that your podcasts have built up awareness, and so we've got one here that I want to stick up. So, women's health wellness. Tell us a little bit about this one, Christina.
Absolutely. So, I've just finished 3 seasons. I interview about 10 guests per season, and they're from around the world. We've had Australia, India, the Philippines, England, Canada, and the US. And literally, we speak about health, wealth, and happiness. So I'll do a little example for you. Think for a moment, if you had to choose one word that meant happiness for you, what word comes to your mind first? Now,
yeah. Wow.
And that is where we go. So we talk about that moment in time, and it could be anything from childhood. It could be a career move. It could be having children for some women. That is what I love about the interviews. And what I find is the common thread that we have as women around the world, wherever we are, and people go through things. So when you have someone talk about an experience, one of my guests talked about childhood cancer and their experience. So somebody else goes, wow, yeah, I went through that and I am not defined by that anymore. So I love that thread with our experiences, our shared experiences. And one of my favorite pieces on it is the questions. So I have the guest from one episode ask a question that gets asked to the next guest on the next episode to keep the string along and keep the excitement going.
That's absolutely fab. I absolutely love that concept. I've seen a couple of yours, and and it works inherently well. Because, like you say, in the same way as we build 4 shows over 4 weeks in a block for a series with OneStream, you're doing the same. And it's almost connecting those people, even though they've never met, might never met. Because there's that, and people are people, they'll go off and maybe even look. Because we do that. It's like, oh, that's, we've got one of your friends that just connected with on, I'm not going to say she is, on LinkedIn. But it's because of our relationship that we're doing this show. And then I had to look at her stuff, and it's all about wellness. And actually, I was quite intrigued about the way she puts things across. So it's natural human nature that, the universe will send us the right people at the right time. We know all that. So, look, podcasting is amazing, really, for building deep relationships. But I find discoverability can be tough. Let's face it, platforms like YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, really, they are video first in a lot of ways. LinkedIn, maybe not as much, but it is growing more and more. Some of the other short form ones are growing more. And then things like Substack, it's becoming almost a one-stop shop. And he's a big shout out to my good pal, Marco Novo, who took time out of his day, brilliant live stream out in Portugal, to take me through some things this afternoon, which was great. Now, going live pushes the algorithms, we know that, and actually the spin-off stuff to the other stuff that you're doing. So all of it's all tied in. But one good live stream clip, which is why we've done a couple of piece aheads with you, because we'll repurpose those, more on that next week. It can reach thousands of new eyeballs just for that on its own. So you can keep the loyalty of your podcast listeners, Christine, can't you? But add the visibility of video. So I suppose it's visibility, live streaming, and the loyalty that you bring from podcasting equals exponential growth. How does that idea sit with you? That going live could really be a way to amplify what you're already doing, complementing it rather than replacing it.
Sign me up.
Love it. Let's dig a bit deeper then, because I'm conscious of the time. What's your biggest fear about going live?
Ooh, there's always the fun of the little snafus that happen. It's just like you said, the lovely lady from Australia, the octopus. I don't mind that piece because I love that being behind the scenes and playing with all the buttons and getting the right screens up, and sometimes not the right screens too. That's the fun of it all. I think the one fear would be a guest not showing up, a last minute pull out, and then suddenly you're stuck in that moment of going, okay, I've called my backups and my backups are all busy.
Yeah.
Does the show still go on?
Yeah. That's a really, really interesting point, because that never really bothers me, because I think people would know that I'd just fly around the world and knock on the door, say, where are you? Virtually. And there's no escaping. There's 8.2 billion people in the world, one big Joe Shep. Wherever you go, you're going to get to meet me at some point. There's no hiding from me. So, but it's a very serious point, because actually, I never consider that at all. Because again, the pre-prep and planning I'm doing, but I suppose I'm also comfortable. I've become comfortable, Christina, I should say. I've become comfortable being able to adapt that on my own and then be able to take that. But I suppose subconsciously, I'm thinking about that. Subconsciously, I'm thinking about that. So I already have a plan, if needs be, that I could deliver that yourself. But when you're doing your interview ones, it's quite difficult to do. So actually, you've given me something to think about now for some of the projects I'm doing, because actually that's what we call an actions on. And I haven't really sort of factored that in. Now, if you could wave a magic wand, then what's the one thing you'd want to feel super confident about by the end of this 4-part series that we're doing together?
Ooh, that's a nice big question, Joe. What would I like to be super confident at the end of this 4 weeks? Wow. Knowing that I have learned the tools and I am ready to jump into the live streaming piece. I find it so exciting. I am ready for this learning journey that I'm about to be taken on and ready to leap into it. I want to be able to say, I'm a live streamer, just like Big Joe Shep.
Yeah, that's I do generally go back to the fact that I think podcasters will always make better live streamers than live streamers, because actually there's a skill in podcasting, and I think that if you're going from live streaming to podcasting, which is why we take the live stream show. Live streaming is a service, the show, download the file and give it to somebody who's clever and can sort of smooth it out, clip it, front and rear, make a podcast from it. But I am also conscious, Susie Mann, as you're saying, always have a plan B, C, and D. You're absolutely right. I suppose subconsciously, I always do have actions on for that when we're guests, or whether I'm on my own as well. Yeah. One of the things we're going to do over the next 4 weeks, because we're coming up to the witching time, is we're going to put out a live streaming wise statement. We're going to give you next week, we're going to give you a live stream framework and things like that to do. But why is it you want to go live? Is it to grow your business? Is it to build deeper connections with your audience, to show the real, authentic you on camera, to get discovered faster? Any of those things. Christina, to finish off almost tonight, share with us your live stream why.
Wow. So my live stream, why I want to do live streaming, is there are so many stories out there. There's so many amazing women who've done amazing things, and I can't share the stories fast enough. If there are 4 billion women on this planet, I want to share all of their stories. And I've got only so much time to do that. So I want to not worry about the editing as the primary piece, but get out, get live, and share more voices. That's my primary reason.
That's brilliant. And that's really, really good enough. So listen, you've been absolutely fantastic. We are up to the 30 minutes. Thank you for your honesty and for taking the leap with me. Before we sign off, how are you feeling now compared to when we started tonight?
Fantastic. I'm so excited. I cannot wait till next week. Do we have to wait?
Unfortunately, we do, but it will come around. It comes around, seems to come around faster than ever before. Listen, everybody who's watching, thanks very much for your support tonight. If you want to contact us at OneStream.live or via livestreamsolutions.org, and we'll give you the links to download our free visibility commitment template, so you can then list down, why you want to go live, who you want to reach, what messages that you want to say, the story you want to tell. And also, you don't forget, you can also book your free 30-minute look-see around the studio. It's a simple worksheet that helps you clarify those things, why you want to go live, who you want to reach, what you want to say. It'll help, to be honest, it'll help keep your focus and stepping into confidence on camera. Well, that's it for episode 1 of the Livestream Leap, from voice to vision. And next Tuesday, part 2, myself and Christina will be covering how to repurpose content for 10 times the results. We'll give you your very own live stream framework to use. So that is taking the word live stream, LIVESTREAM, 10 letters. There's a framework for each of those letters that will help you, very, very simply to be able to build your own framework. So it will be the same time, same place. Remember, podcasting builds trust, live streaming builds presence, and together you will definitely create something that's absolutely unstoppable. For myself, Big Joe Shep, thanks very much. From Christina in the USA.
Thank you for having me on the show today.
Absolutely superb. We will see you next week. Take care, stay safe, and remember, if you're not streaming, you're just not. Take care.